Welcome! In this series of videos, we will look at topics common to both the PowerBasic Console and Windows compilers. Today, we will look at date handling. In this series of videos, we'll be covering topics which are common to both the PowerBasic Windows compiler and the PowerBasic Console compiler. In order to do this, I've set up a small common library to allow us to display information on the screen from a program regardless of whether you're using the Windows or the Console compiler. There are three basic functions in this common display library. There's prep output, log, and wait. In our previous video on date handling, we handled dates using the inbuilt PowerTime class of PowerBasic. What we're going to do today is add a new library, and this will be handling our dates. So our new library is called pb dates ext. Now in this skeleton program, I've created a local variable called strtoday, and I'm using one of the inbuilt functions to the date functions library to pull back the current UK date. And we're sending this to our log. We run that program now. We get the current date in UK format. Now what we're going to do with this new library is manipulate that date. If we have a look at the library itself, we will see that this particular library does have some history. It does date back to originally 1993. Now, while this is not all my own work, I have added a couple of extra functions to the library to enhance it still further. What we'll do is work through each of the functions in this library to see what they can do. The technique this library uses to handle dates is to take your standard day, month, year format and turn it into a Julian date. Basically, it becomes a long number. Then you can manipulate that long number as you can with any other long number, and then once you've finished manipulation, you can then turn it back into a Gregorian date. This library comes with two main functions: Gregorian to Julian, which will turn a standard day, month, year formatted date into a Julian date, and Julian to Gregorian, which does it in reverse, takes the Julian date and turns it back into a Gregorian date. I've added a couple of extra functions onto this library to make it slightly easier for UK date formats. A fun Gregorian to Julian and a fun Julian to Gregorian. If we look at the Gregorian to Julian first, we'll see that it takes a single parameter, which is the date in the day, month, year format, calls the Gregorian to Julian function, and returns it as the number. So let's try that in our code. We will create a new local variable. We will call the Gregorian to Julian function and return the number. Now if we run that now, we'll see the number it returns is 2,458,931. Now, as a number, we can quite happily add to that number. We can add 7 days onto it. And if we use the function to turn it back into a Gregorian date, which is this function here, Julian to Gregorian, give it the long number that we have calculated, and we will output that to our log. And we'll see it has quite successfully added 7 days onto the current date. So using these two functions, date manipulation is a simple matter of arithmetic. So what other functions have we actually got in that library? Well, we have day of week, which will return the day of the week. So if we try running that one, and we know we picked up today as being this number here, this number here, and since this is all going to be a number, we will express it as a string on our log. And it quite rightly says the day number is 0. Today happens to be Sunday, so it will return 0 as a day number. And there is a function for day name, which will return the name of the day. Sunday, all the way through to Saturday. Now, one useful thing you can actually use is there's a function here to get you the number of days between any two dates. So we'll try that. And it wants two dates. And we're going to give it the start date and the end date. So if we say our start date is the 22nd, and our second date in this case we will make the 29th, and that should give us a number back of number of days. So we'll output that to the log. And we'll try running that now, assuming I've got all the brackets in the right place, which obviously I haven't. Missing a bracket. We'll see the total number of days between that is counting as 8, because it counts each day inclusive. So it's counting the 22nd, the 29th. Now they are 7 days apart, but if you count 22nd as the first day and 29th as the last, it is actually 8 numerical days apart. So other functions you'll find in here. Number of working days between two dates. Again 5, because it's only counting Monday to Fridays. And there are two functions to test if the second date is greater than the first date, or if the second date is greater than or equal to the first date. Another useful function which can be used with the rmchart utility, which I did another video on, is to get the week commencing dates for a number of weeks. So if we try running that, put that as a separate line, and if we put in today as being the current date, and we need to tell it how many weeks we want it for, so let's say 4 weeks. So if we try running that now, this works backwards from the current date, giving you the week beginning of each of the weeks for the last 4 weeks. 16th, the 9th, the 2nd, and the 24th of February. This is very useful when you're actually charting things in the rmchart program, because the rmchart program takes its legend in a delimited by asterisk format. Another function you'll find buried in this library is one specific for those of you who use PowerBasic Windows compiler. This has a test at the beginning to make sure we're not actually in the console compiler, which I am at the moment, and we'll set a date control based on the date you're giving it. Not strictly speaking date handling, but it is putting date into a control. So this is a short introduction to date handling not using the part-time class. I hope you found this useful. Thank you for watching.